Hi guys, my name is Philip Port. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Happy Visas. Today we're going to be speaking about, is it a good time to invest in property? I'm going to focus on Moscow and Saint Petersburg today in today's video, and I'm going to explain why I think it's a good time to invest. Now, I've invested in property, but I did it at the wrong time. I did it in 2013 at the end. So early 2014, the ruble collapsed. So I changed all my British pounds at 60 to 1. And if I would have waited just maybe about 3-4 weeks, I would have got about 125 to 1 on the pound. So I lost initially an absolute fortune. Now, since then, the property prices have recovered. The ruble a little bit, not much. It's still about 103, 104 rubles to the pound. So I'm losing on the exchange rates, but I rented it out. So I've had 7 years of good, solid rental income that has been giving me 5% return. So even though I lost initially, I'm now into positive territory. I paid 8 million rubles for my flat, which at 60 to 1 was quite expensive, about close to about £120,000, maybe about $150,000 I paid, quite expensive. And in the last 18 months, the value of my flat went from 8 million up to about 12 million. So it's gone up about 50% in value. So I've got my money back at long last. It's taken since 2014. It was a terrible investment. But we're talking about now. Why is it a good time? If you imagine it's only gone up 50% in 7-8 years, but from when I bought it at 60 to 1, it's gone down in theory in pounds or dollars or euros. I'm still losing money hypothetically. The other reason why to invest, especially if you're an overseas person bringing in pounds, euros, is the ruble is so undervalued. You're buying a flat for 104. You're buying a 104 rubles for £1. Now, even if it goes to 200 to 1, let's say you buy it at the wrong time, and let's say I'm wrong, and the ruble isn't undervalued, and obviously other things happening in other parts of the world, like Ukraine and things like that, a lot of sentiment is negative, and I think wrongly so. I think Russia is a great country, and I think everything is fine here. But this perception is a lot of business people are holding off investing in Russia because of what's happening, because of sanctions and things like that. But that's the best time to invest. Once them sanctions are lifted and once everybody's friends again, the ruble might go back to 50 to 1. It might go back to where it was. But let's say it goes the other way. Let's say it goes to 200 to 1. You're still going to get a 2 to 3% return on your investment. Probably a 5 to 6% return if it doesn't devalue. If the ruble doesn't devalue, you're getting 5 or 6%. Let's say it goes to 200 to 1, you're still getting a 3-4%, and you just sit it out, have that little nice cash cow coming in every year, and it's a nice little income. Now, if you're not a resident in Russia, you're going to be paying 30% tax. If you're a resident in Russia, it can be anything from 4% of turnover to 13% tax. I guess most of Russians pay about 13%, but there's such things as a patent, there's such thing as simplified taxation, where you can lower your costs if you're a resident. Now, is there loopholes if you're not a resident? Maybe you could use an agency, they rent it out for you, they pay the tax on the income residence rates and remunerate you at a beneficial tax rate. That is a possibility, I believe. I'm not an accountant. You'd need to speak to somebody who handles accounts. So let's recap. In 7-8 years, property went nowhere. The value just fluctuated there. every year you've had 7-8% inflation in Russia. Only in the last 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, has property prices gone higher. But as I said, ruble's very, very weak. Now, if you buy a flat in Russia, your bills are ridiculously cheap. Your insurance is cheap. Your property tax is what you would call council tax. You know, it's about £20 a year. Your electricity is £3, £4, £5 a month. Gas, forget about. So your household expenses to maintain that flat are next to nothing. If you buy it on the secondary market and you buy it in a communal flat, on your service charge, which includes all your heating, all your water, which is going to be about £50 a month, about 5,000 rubles, on that, anything goes wrong, the maintenance people for the building will repair it for free. Normally they include the parts. Now I'll give you an example. I had a problem with my toilet. The guy came, he didn't have the parts, so I gave him 500 rubles, which was £5. He went to the market, bought the part, came back, installed it, and that was for free. Obviously I gave him a 500 ruble tip, which was a fiver, £5 at that time, and he was very, very happy. Now just to call out a plumber in the UK, Europe, America, probably £100. And then he gives you a price to do the job. Same with electrics. So to maintain your flat and to keep it in good order is extremely cheap. Now you can buy on the main market like a new flat, but it's not going to be decorated normally. It's normally just a shell. And if you pay cash, you're going to get a good price. If you buy it on a mortgage, there is a fixed rate mortgage of about 6.5%, but they add another 0.5% on for fees and things like that. So you end up paying about 6.9, maybe 7% with all the insurances and things like that. But you can buy a brand new flat which is secured. I would go with a bank like Sberbank. So it's like an escrow account. You get the mortgage, they hold the money, they pay you a small interest on it, so that covers kind of your fees. So if the builder goes bankrupt, you're 100% protected because the liability falls on the bank because they're holding the escrow account and they keep all your money. So basically the builder who's building this new flat gets the cash as and when he meets the stages. But at the end of the day, the bank is still liable, and obviously the builder pay good fees for that. It's not cheap, I guess. The building company obviously for this service to protect the buyer. So you could buy a new flat. I think you should buy on the secondary market. The problem is with buying on the secondary market. If you wanted a mortgage, you're going to be paying about 10% interest, and if you're going to be paying 10% interest, you're probably much better off to rent. Why would you pay 10% interest when you could buy a property, rent it out, and only get 5% return? So 10% interest to the bank, 5% return on rental income, less the tax, the 30% tax if you can't find any loopholes. So why would you do that? So I would say on the secondary market, in other words, not a new build with a subsidised mortgage, I would say it's better to have physical cash from the UK, from Europe, from America, physically buy the property and have that little cash cow coming in. The other problem is with buying on the secondary market, on the new market, a new build, is the problem is with that you have to refurbish everything yourself, and everything has gone up 40-50% in the last couple of years. That's building materials, the builders are working who are going to be repairing, decorating it and things like that. So that is a problem as well. The refurbishment of the flat is a lot more expensive than what it was a couple of years ago. So just to recap, I think it's a great time to invest in Moscow, Saint Petersburg. I think if you're a cash buyer, the secondary market is great. You probably could negotiate a great discount. It's giving you a good return on your investment. You know, as a cash cow, what are you getting in England? 0.25% in the bank. This will give you a strong 5% a year, probably 4%. You know, you read on the internet, you get about 3%, 3.5%. Well, I've got 3 properties and I'm getting an easy 5% return on my investment. When I say mine, I'm actually my wife's property, but it doesn't matter. I call them mine. So yeah, it's a good return on the investment. Now, the other thing I would say, if you're going to invest in property in Russia, get a good lawyer, good solicitor, because how they exchange here, you've got to take a lump sum. If you're buying on the secondary market, you've got to take a lump sum, put it in a safe deposit box, and as they transfer the document to you, you give them the key and they take the money out of the safe deposit box. Obviously, if you're buying it new, it's done through the bank, obviously, but that's how they do normally at the secondary market. So everything's got to be done through a notary. And if you don't speak Russian, you've got to have somebody with a diploma saying that they are a translator who graduated from university, and they must produce the diploma when you go to the notary to sign all the documents. So this is just a brief explanation about buying property in Moscow, Saint Petersburg in Russia. Number one market, I would say Moscow. Millions of people going every year to Russia, to Moscow. Everybody leaves, like Perm, where I'm living now actually. Everybody wants to go to Moscow. Everybody in Moscow wants to go to Europe and America and Australia. But the population is growing. Because of all the tourism, St. Petersburg is a great market as well. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe. I'm going to be doing lots more videos about Russia, about immigration. I'm an immigration advisor. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos about that. Thank you very much, guys. Much appreciated that you watched this video. Thank you.